Hello, today we start with a new topic, reproduction in organisms. Now, what is reproduction? How organisms reproduce? What are the methods? When do they do it? How do they do it? Etc. will be talked about in this particular chapter. This will be the outline of the chapter. So, the first thing is, what's a lifespan? So, obviously, the last class you did mention that yes, what are the steps that undergo after birth till death. That period of time is referred to as lifespan. It can differ from a cell to an organism to a plant to an animal and so on and so forth. However, after birth, the initial part where an animal or a plant undergoes a vegetative phase that just keeps growing and it doesn't reproduce. We call it juvenile phase or juvenility in animals. So young phase, that is. Thereafter, and this phase differs from plants to animals to cells and so on and so forth. Thereafter, they start producing gametes, that is sperm cells and egg cells in their reproductive structures, like the testes or the ovary, and in plants you have the ovules and so on and so forth. And this maturity or a reproductive phase is a very big one. In fact, 70% of the animal life is consumed in this process, in the reproductive phase, and even so in plants. And thereafter, there is a degradative phase where there is aging, there is death of cells, the animals would lose their memory bank, like I am losing some, and so we start aging, and our skin will show folds, that's called wrinkles. uh, we won't be able to have a reactive time, that is we cannot respond very quick as you guys can respond to, and ultimately the death occurs. So the birth and the death, and that in between period is referred to as lifespan. As you know, lives for 200 years, and the humans, we say so that we live for 120 years, but actual range is 70 to 90 years. But well, it's considered to be 120 years because people do live beyond that. Even eagle, 90 years, and elephant goes down to 70 years. Monkey, 20 years, 26 years. Dogs, Indian dogs usually live for 11 to 12 years, but on an average, since other dogs in cold countries live for long, so in general it has been taken as 22 years. Tigers the same. Rat only 5 years. The mice, which is smaller in size, lives for 4 years. Bees, a couple of months, 1 to 5 years, that is 12 months to 60 months. And mayfly would just live for a day, and organisms can live from 30 minutes to 1 hour or even little more. So here, these are the three I mean, the small charts placed together, picked up from McGraw-Hill, written by Shubroto and Aman, and you can go through this one. And now you have some questions: true or false? Single cell structures never die. Do they die or not? That is the question. I'm giving you time. That's true. That's true. Single cells never die because single cell structures, when they split up, their content goes to the daughter cells. So they are immortal. Bacterial cells are immortal. Obviously, I use the same term, and therefore this is also true. What is reproduction? That's a very funny word. Reproduction. Re means again and again. So to produce again and again, and you never stop. So it's a biological process, as you know. We do likewise again and again. So why do we do that? That's to increase the population, to increase the number, so as to sustain, so as to live long, and there you go, and to continue the species. So our species should be maintained, continued in a proper manner. If you see in the cyclic phenomenon here, the sperm and egg get fused to form a baby, and the babies, they grow, and then the different adults, then they mate, and then they grow old, and again they produce, and so on and so forth. So the $1 million question is, do mom live forever? Now this is a question, whether you understand it or not. I am asking in reference to bacterial cell, as well as in reference to eukaryotic advanced animal or plant cells.